evening, Silver and Black Nation, and welcome to the Silver and Black Lair. I'm your host, the Bat Frie Kenny Frie. Fantastic Friday. Here we are. I hope everybody's doing well, getting ready for the new year. You see, got the awesome graphics here. Thanks to Paul Spencer. Thanks for hooking me up. Got the awesome New Year vibe happening there, and it looks good. It looks cool. I like the way it looks. Looking fancy, rolling out in the new year here. New Raiders cap I got at Lids, and I'll tell you one thing. So when I was a kid, a teenager, I should say, when I really started wearing hats, loved hats, get hats all the time. I thought hats were expensive back then. You get $20 a hat. Now, holy cow, one hat, $44. And they're doing a buy one, get one 50% off. So I also got a Mets hat. But I mean, it's unbelievable. The Mets hat was 30, I think it was 38, and the Raiders hat was $44. And there was no cheaper hat. Yeah, it was unbelievable. I was like, I could have bought two hats back in the mid 90s. I mean, granted, obviously times have changed. That's 20, 30 years ago, whatever the hell it is now. But still, the price of hats are absolutely outrageous. Now, granted, they are made, I think, a lot better than they were back then, but still insane. Probably made in some sweatshop in, I don't know, Siam or something. I don't know. But $44 is just, but I like the hat. I dig it. It fits well. The material, it's sturdy. Feels like it's a hat that's built to last. So that's my hat rant. So let's get rolling here into the Raiders and Chiefs from Christmas Day. And I'll tell you what, I was on the edge of my seat, just watching that whole game. My daughter, especially at the end there, my oldest daughter giving me the old eyebrow and kind of cross-eyed look as I'm yelling at the TV. I usually don't get that amped up for a game. I'm one of the calm ones. I'll sit back, relax, talk to myself, shake my head, or give the old fist bump and maybe like an under my breath, Tom Brady, let's go, one of those gimmicks. But I was a little bit more into it. I don't know if it was the jolliness in me from Christmas Day, or if it was just, as a hell of a game, the Chiefs started putting together a little bit of a comeback there at the end. And as a Raider fan, the last, 20 plus years, you expect to lose those games. You have a lead. You expect Patrick Mahomes to come back and get that touchdown on you. And, just to see the way it went, awesome, fantastic. I got a comment here. Foster Covers. What's up, Foster Covers? He said, I was bitching when they were $5 45 years ago. Yeah, it's unbelievable how expensive they are now. Hats, it's and like I said, the material, they're put together really well. So I'll give them that. And I just try to remember what hats were like back in the day. I don't know. It's not like you'd wear the hat and like a week later it was shit. It felt like they lasted a while as well. So I just don't understand why the price back then is so daily. What is it, like a 200% increase in the price of hats? It's unbelievable. It really is. So the Raiders defense, fantastic. They were relentless, tenacious, and downright nasty the whole game. Start to finish, they were all up in Patrick Mahomes' ass. And you could tell he was running for his life the whole game, out of breath, wore down. And give Patrick Mahomes credit. I'll be the first to step up and say, you know what? The dude hung in there. He was able to put some plays together near the end, and he gave the Chiefs a chance to at least get back in the game and with the chance to win. And the Raiders defense came up big again. I mean, and then the offense finally clicked. They picked up a little bit at the end, and they were able to run the clock out on the Chiefs and to take it home. It was awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Foster says, KC having a wide receiver plus other problems. Kelsey getting laid too much. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not enough. I don't know. Who knows what too much is? But yeah, there's a whole host of things going on with KC offensively. Defensively, that's a really, really, really good team. I mean, the Raiders had 0 completions, I think it was, since the first quarter. In the first quarter, I thought O'Connell looked pretty good. After that, no completions for the rest of the game. Kind of tells you how it went. But I felt like Zamir White, Zeus. I felt like Zeus ran the ball really, really well. Had over 100 yards before he ran off that 43-yard run that he had to pretty much ice the game. So it wasn't all, you can't go back and look at the stats and say, well, he got most of his yards on that one run. No, he had over 100 yards before he had that run. So Zamir White did have a really good game. The offensive line had a decent game. Aiden O'Connell, it wasn't pressure that was causing him to not get completions. It was just it was poor play on his part. There was some times where he had guys wide open. Well, I would say wide open. They were open, and he was missing them. Thrown behind, thrown in the ground. But there was also times where he threw the ball, and there were a couple drops. There was so. I mean that's part of it as well. And the other part of it is knowing the situation, knowing what's going on in the game, and this is where I gave Aiden O'Connell some credit. Knowing the situation, knowing that you're up, your defense is playing so well. Don't screw the pooch. Don't start turning the ball over because you're pressing, because you're trying to get the offense going. Don't play above yourself. Is what I'm trying to get at there. And I felt like he did a great job in not doing that. He did a great job playing in the moment, staying calm. If the play's not there, get rid of the ball. There's no reason to turn the ball over. Give Kansas City extra opportunity. Give Kansas City momentum changes, momentum swings. No reason to do that. If you go 3 and out, go 3 and out. The defense is playing lights out. It is what it is. So let's give AOC credit there. Give Aiden O'Connell. He did what was asked of him. Granted, you're not going to win a whole lot of games like that because the defense isn't going to be able to hold every team the way that the Raiders were able to hold the Chiefs. I mean, our 2 touchdowns were defensive touchdowns. A fumble recovery for a touchdown by I think it was Blau Nichols, and then the pick 6 by Jack Jones. So, I mean, that was our only touchdowns in the game. Thankfully, again, defense was good enough. Had a couple field goals. Normally, if your only scores come from the defense, normally you lose those games. But I mean, now I'm not going to compare this Raiders defense to the Baltimore Ravens defense of the past. And I'm not going to do that. Ray Lewis and all that stuff when they won their Super Bowl. But it reminded me a lot of that when the offense, the Baltimore Ravens offense was unable to score. Their quarterback was what the hell's his name? Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer was their quarterback, and they couldn't score. The defense held teams single digits, or low teens, 10 points per game, but their offense couldn't score points, and they lost a few games, but they stayed patient with it. They stayed patient. They won games with their defense, and their offense wasn't really losing games for them. Their offense wasn't winning games for them, but their offense wasn't losing games for them. So again, I'm not comparing this Raiders defense to the Ravens defense of yesteryear, but it reminded me a little bit of that, where the offense can't score, but the defense is doing such a great job that they're winning in spite of their offense. Their offense isn't losing it, but their offense isn't winning it either. If that makes any sense, I don't know. So Mahomes all over the place. There was no run game to speak of. The only person that was able to run the ball against the Raiders was Patrick Mahomes. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy. It's not like he was just roll out and, have an easy 12, 15 yards on a run. No, he was scrambling. Those were scrambles, legit scrambles where, they were all over him. He's weaving in and out of traffic. And I've heard so many people talk about it from Raider Nation about the Raiders' defensive line able to stay in their rush lanes and kind of keep Mahomes contained. And they did. They did a great job of that. He wasn't able just to roll out, or he wasn't able just to step up in the pocket and take off like you would see Patrick Mahomes do year after year, game after game. He had to bob and weave, in and out of traffic, and the whole magician thing. As a Raider fan, you've heard Jack Jones say the way to stop the team is stop the magician, and whatever the hell it was. Then the trick is over. Whatever he said, the show's over, or something like that. You stop the magician, the show's over. There's some plays that he made, just avoiding sacks and avoiding hits to get either positive yards or get rid of the ball. Very impressive. Very impressive by Patrick Mahomes. And there's nothing that makes me smile more than watching Patrick Mahomes get pissed off on the sidelines, or watching Travis Kelce, cry and bitch and moan and throw his helmet. I love that. That makes me smile. I can't stand Travis Kelce. I like Jason Kelce. I think Jason Kelce's fantastic. Travis Kelce, I think, is a bit of a douchebag. And that's just how I feel about it. It is what it is. Raiders defense, 4 sacks on the day. I think there was 3 by Kuntz, 1 by who was it? I can't think of who it was. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I can't remember who the other one was. I think it was Adam Butler, but I'm not sure. So the name of the game on Christmas Day was defense. And again, no offense to speak of besides Zeus. Devontae Adams, 1 catch, 4 yards. So that tells you right there. And so it makes you wonder how patient, Devontae Adams, Raider fan as a kid, I want to be here, I want to be here with Derek Carr. Even now Derek's gone, I still want to be a Raider. I still want to be here, pulling for Coach Antonio Pierce. But it makes you wonder how long that's going to continue if he's getting 1 catch a game. You know what I mean? If the defense or if the offense is still struggling the way it's struggling, how long is he going to stay that patient and that supportive? Is he going to go diva receiver on us? I don't know. That doesn't seem like the name of his game, but you just never know. Foster says, I'm with you. Not a Travis fan either. You just get that vibe where he's kind of douchey. He's kind of, I don't want to say entitled. I don't know if that's the right word or not. But like when I see his brother Jason Kelce, I see humble, thankful. Travis Kelce, I just don't get that vibe. And again, they play 2 different positions. Offensive lineman, and Travis Kelce, a receiving tight end. Different positions, so you're gonna have different personalities. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But the biggest part of it is that he plays for the Chiefs and Jason plays for the Eagles, so we don't have to play Jason twice a year. We have to play Travis twice a year, and Travis normally kills us. So, what did my guy Jacoby ended up with? I think it was did he have 50 yards receiving? He had 3 catches for 42 yards. That's what Jacoby Myers had. Not bad, not bad. I feel like if I remember correctly, I think Aiden O'Connell missed him once or twice on some not deep passes, but a little bit more than intermediate route. So a little bit deeper than intermediate route, but not as deep as a deep pass would be. I felt like Aiden O'Connell missed him a couple times there. Aiden O'Connell missed a lot. To be 100% honest with you, he missed a lot, and but he didn't turn the ball over. So you got to take the good with the bad there. I think to go from the 63-point performance, and again, 35 points off of 5 turnovers. They had two defensive touchdowns in that game against the Chargers. So there's a lot of help there, a lot of short fields for Aiden O'Connell, and it's a different defense. The Chargers defense is nowhere nearly as good as what the Chiefs defense is, and just a difference. Aiden O'Connell, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 250 or so yards against the Chargers. To what happened this past Christmas Day, where I think it was 50, 60 yards passing altogether. 62 yards passing, 9 of 21. So, but again, no turnovers. We'll take that. Travis Kelce, it's his demeanor. Yeah, it's something, the way he carries himself, just the way he is. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. And you know what? I'll watch clips of their of the Kelce brothers podcast, and it's funny. I dig it. I don't watch whole episodes. I'll watch clips of it. But just Travis out in the football field, I just can't stand him. I just can't stand him. Hey, Eileen, happy Friday. There we go. How you doing, Eileen? Thanks for checking the show out. So what else we got from this this one? I have a whole bunch of crap written down, but I'm not going to read all of it. And like I said, Zeus ran the ball great. His first 100-yard rushing game. Like I said, he had 100 yards before he ran that big 43-yard runoff. Awesome. The way they were able to close the game out was fantastic. It was something that we haven't seen in a long time. Adam Glenn, hey, what's up, Adam? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for checking the show out. Thanks for checking in. I think you missed the Bat Cave yesterday. I don't remember seeing you check in yesterday. You'll have to go back and check that out. So overall, great. Malcolm Kuntz was fantastic. The secondary was awesome. And again, there's nobody on that Chiefs offense that's really all that scary. The last time we played the Chiefs, Rashee Rice had over 100 yards receiving against us. He played really well, and he again had an okay game against us this time around, but not nearly as productive as it was the first game. And if you remember back that first game, we jumped out real quick, 14 nothing. We held the Chiefs, I think, the first game to 11 yards of total offense in the first quarter. This time it was negative 18 yards in total offense in the first quarter. I mean, after that, obviously they outgained us by a lot, but again, you come out to win, that's all that matters. Hey, what's up, Evan? Big Evan checking in. What's up, brother? He says, big win, definitely the surprise of the week. It was a huge surprise. I don't know if it's a surprise of the week, that San Francisco and Baltimore game. That was a bit of a surprise, even though it ended up only a 14-point difference. And San Francisco did have a chance to get within one score. I felt like that game was a bit of a surprise, the way the Ravens were able to handle, especially the Ravens defense was able to handle that 49ers offense with that. What did they have? 5 turnovers, I think, or something like that, 4 or 5 turnovers. So that was a surprise to me. I feel like if they play that game again, it doesn't turn out that way, but you don't get that luxury. So, the next time they'll play each other could be in the Super Bowl. I don't think so for the Ravens, but I feel like the Ravens are a little bit overrated. Everybody's talking about Lamar Jackson, MVP. I mean, I don't watch enough of them to say yes or no. Just looking at stats, going into that game, 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, that doesn't really scream MVP. Again, I don't know what his rush yards are. I'm sure he has a lot of rush yards, passing yards, stuff like that. Team is winning though, so you got to give him credit there. Without that defense, 5 turnovers. I mean, do the Ravens win that game? I don't know. It's not something that's going to happen every week, every game. You can't rely on 5 turnovers every game. You can't rely on your defense to score touchdowns every game. Raiders, the last 2 games, 2 defensive touchdowns each game. So, but you can't rely on that every game. So, I'm just not sure if what's his name? Lamar Jackson from the Ravens, if he's the MVP or not. I didn't know. Yeah, it was a late ad. Adam with the Bat Cave. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go on Thursday night, but I went on at 8 p.m. No big deal. Evan says I called the Ravens +4 now, and I was looked at crazy. Well, you came out the winner, Evan. That's all. Hopefully you won a decent amount of money. Hopefully you bet on it. Instead of just saying the Ravens are going to win that game. But it was surprising. It was out in San Francisco. It's just so many things going against the Ravens in that game, and they smacked 49ers around. Did I send Mahoney a thank you card for your Christmas gift? Mahomes, you should send Mahomes a thank you card for the Christmas gift. You should. I think he'd appreciate that. Send one to his bitch ass tight end Travis Kelce as well. He needs a pick me up. So now what else do I got from this game? Like I said, Blau Nichols with that fumble recovery. The defensive touchdowns came 7 seconds apart, and the Chiefs looked deflated. The game felt like it was, if you're a Chiefs fan, you had to be just sitting there like stunned. And that's how it felt like the Chiefs were playing. After that, it's just too bad the Raiders offense wasn't able to capitalize on that lull in the game. Because it was a down point in the game after the Raiders scored those 2 touchdowns. Defensively, I think they're 7 to 10 seconds apart, game time wise, and it was just too bad that the Raiders, when they got the ball back on offense, were able to capitalize and add more to it. Another touchdown, but I can't say enough. Well, just a win's a win. And you can't say enough about Malcolm Kuntz as well. Malcolm Kuntz, just relentless to the quarterback. You have the other side, Max Crosby being doubled. They're chipping him. Now you have Malcolm Kuntz stepping up, back-to-back games with 2+ sacks. Awesome. I think he had 3 sacks this game. The game before he had 2 sacks. If he gets at least 2 more sacks next game, I think he'll be the first Raider to have 3 games in a row with 2+ sacks since Khalil Mack. I think did it in like 15 or 16. And that's awesome. Khalil Mack, that was when he was a double all-pro at a defensive end and all-pro at linebacker. So I mean, you can't sneeze at that, right? So Malcolm Kuntz, really kicking ass right now. 2 more sacks. We'll also give him 7 sacks in a 3-game span. That'll be a Raider record, I believe, also that's currently held by Khalil Mack back in that same year. Is it 15 or 16? So it's finally somebody steps up on the other side of the offense, on the other side of the defensive line. Like I said last week, I think it was, it was supposed to be Chandler Jones. We drafted Tyree Wilson to kind of step in and fill that, to learn from Chandler Jones and kind of slowly integrate him into the defensive line. And Chandler Jones went nuts. We put Tyree Wilson in there. Actually, Tyree Wilson started, I think, on the injured reserve or on the disabled list, injured list, whatever you want to call it. We don't say disabled list anymore. It's injured list. And from his foot injury from his last college season, so he didn't even start the season on the field. But you had Malcolm Kuntz rushing on the outside, and there was somebody else rushing as well. But they weren't getting to the quarterback. It was just Max Crosby, and that wasn't enough. We weren't getting any pressure up the middle. We weren't getting any pressure from the other side. It was all Max Crosby. And then finally Tyree Wilson came back healthy. Like, all right, let's see what Tyree got. First couple games, nothing out of him. Like, all right, give him a couple games to get back into the flow. Still struggling. And with it being a rookie, you got to give him some time. Granted, it's not a rookie quarterback. But even the rookie defensive end, sometimes you need to give him a little bit of time. Even though he's a very high draft pick, you want those guys to come in and excel right away, be able to contribute right away. Sometimes that just doesn't happen. Sometimes you have to have a little bit of patience. And so you're being patient with them. But still, you only have Max Crosby rushing the passer. Finally, Malcolm Kuntz started getting a little bit more playing time. Tyree Wilson started sitting a little bit. You get more Malcolm Kuntz. He starts getting into the flow of the game. And now, he's becoming a huge part of that defense. Max, Robert Spillane, just said that front 7 there has been awesome. Divine Diablo's having a pretty good season as well. You don't hear a whole lot about Divine Diablo, but you watch that game. You see him flying around to the ball. He's around a lot. Number 5 is around it a lot. So you got to give Divine Diablo a little bit of credit. And as well as the other guys. And getting a little bit of pressure up the middle now with Adam Butler, Bilal Nichols. That play where the Raiders got their first defensive touchdown was a little bit like a trick play or some sort of gadget play. And the ball was on the ground. They fumbled it. I don't know. I don't know who the receiver was. I think he was supposed to hand it off, and he pulled it. He was pulling it back, or Patrick Mahomes thought he was supposed. I don't know what it was exactly. It was a miscommunication, is what it was. What went down. And ball's on the ground. And without that pressure from up the middle, we don't get that recovery. They're able to fall on it, and live to fight another day. But because we got pressure from up the middle and around the corners, we're able to get on that ball. Bilal Nichols was able to pick it up, truck it in the end zone for a big man touchdown. And then a play or two later, after the Chiefs received the kickoff, a play or two later, Jack Jones stepped in front of that Patrick Mahomes pass, taking it the distance, kind of stared him down a little bit on the way in. You had Tony Romo, and I don't know if it was who was announcing with Tony, if it was Al Michaels or who it was, but kind of like, oh, you better watch out, Jack Jones. You don't want to piss off the magic man Mahomes there. Well, Patrick had no magic. And so another thing in that game, after Jack Jones scored that touchdown, there was a lot of heat on him for handing a ball to a kid in the stands, but then pulling it back, faking the kid out or whatever you want to call it. His stance on that was, and if you go back and watch the video, you kind of understand it. He was giving the kid the ball. He said there was an adult reaching down trying to take it, so he pulled it back, and that was it. So if you go back and you watch that video, he's handing the kid the ball. The kid's getting ready to put his hands on it, and you see his big hand come down, trying to grab at it. That's when he pulled it back and just walked away. So, you can see it both ways. I don't know. Is it a dickhead move? Maybe a little bit. It is Christmas Day, but you are in Kansas City. If that's in Las Vegas, does that kid get the ball? Probably. So, I mean, we're the Raiders, right? We're the Raiders. That's what we're supposed to do, dastardly things, I think. So, there we go. And Jack Jones, one of the things I'm starting to learn about him being a newer Raider, picking him up a few weeks ago before the Miami game from the Patriots. Antonio Pierce coached him in high school, coached him in college, has a great relationship with Jack Jones. It was one of the reasons why when the Patriots waived Jack, the Raiders went out there and picked him up right away. But I guess one of the things about Jack Jones is, despite being a bit of a hothead, he's a bit of a film junkie. And as he was being interviewed after the game, he said that as soon as they lined up, he knew what was coming. He knew the play, and that's just from hours and hours and hours of watching film. So kudos to him, and that tells all the other players out there, hey, do your work, do your film study, and your opportunities for big plays, game deciding plays, game breaking plays, they are going to be there. So good stuff there from Jack Jones. Terrific game from him. The whole secondary as well. Mahomes was able to get it, a decent amount of yards, but it wasn't an easy Patrick Mahomes day like we've seen so many different times. Raiders versus Chiefs. All right, so looking ahead to the Monkey Cold Coffee Player of the Game. Let me bring the old banner up here to make it official, though. This one was tough because there were so many different guys that deserved it. But this one I went with Malcolm Kuntz. Malcolm Kuntz, 3 sacks. How many tackles? He had 6 tackles, 5 solo tackles, 3 sacks. Countless pressures. It was always in the backfield, hitting Mahomes or just in his face. Even the same thing with Max. Max was back there a lot, didn't get any sacks. Did have a couple tackles, and quite a few pressures. I think he had a tackle or 2 for losses. Malcolm Kuntz had 4 tackles for losses, but both defensive ends crash into the quarterback. And like I said, the pressure up the middle and the defensive line standing in the rushing lanes, huge differences in the game to kind of keep Patrick Mahomes in check a little bit. You can't keep somebody that good in check totally, but they kept him in check enough where they were able to make the plays. Hold him to minimal gains, and weren't letting him get in any kind of rhythm. So Malcolm Kuntz is the Monkey Cold Coffee Player of the Game. So be sure to go ahead to monkeycoldcoffee.com. Get all your coffee there. I'll do the sponsor read in a little bit. Bourbon chocolate chip coffee, one of their more popular flavors. There's also the toasted coconut rum, the Sumatran blend, a medium roast coffee, the Peru La Florida, one of their newer blends. The honey agave one that I just got recently, that's another newer blend. But I'll do that sponsor read in a little bit anyway. So back to the Raiders. Some stats here from the game. Again, not pretty offensively, but who cares? Aiden O'Connell was 9 of 21 for 62 yards. Like I said, no completions after the first quarter. So you had a pretty good first quarter. If you look at it, if you want to look at it positively, you had a pretty good first quarter. He didn't turn the ball over, so that's a huge plus there. Patrick Mahomes was 27 of 44, 235, 1 touchdown, and one interception, which was the pick 6. He also ran the ball 10 times for 53 yards. For Zamir White, 22 carries, 145 yards rushing. Pacheco, 11 carries for 26 yards, 1 touchdown for For the Chiefs, like I said, they had no running game either besides Patrick Mahomes. Isaac Pacheco, who's the one I think was trying to hand off to Patrick Mahomes and fumbled it. Now that I read the name, that kind of rings the bell. Receiving wise, Jacoby Myers, 3 catches, 42 yards. Austin Hooper, 2 catches, 13 yards. There is no Michael Mayer, hurt. He's going to be out again this game against the Colts coming up. Devontae Adams, 1 catch for 4 yards. Hunter Renfrow, I didn't even know if Hunter Renfrow got in the game. I didn't see his ass out there at all. I'm sure he was, but pretty quiet there on the offensive front. For the Chiefs, Rashee Rice, like I said, had over 100 yards against us the first game. 6 catches, 57 yards. Richie James, 3 catches, 54 yards. Travis Kelce holding him in check, 5 catches, 44 yards. And the big stat there is 0 touchdowns for Travis Kelce. In the past, whenever the Chiefs needed a big play, a big catch, it was always Travis Kelce. Whether it was in the red zone for a touchdown or it was like 3rd and 15, he always seemed to be there. He always seemed to be open. So the Raiders were able to hold him in check and keep him relatively quiet, besides throwing his helmet and kicking a dog. So I have a comment here real quick before I move on. Mahomes is the player of the game for the Raiders. Yeah, you could say that. He didn't play great, but he didn't play terrible either. It wasn't your typical Patrick Mahomes game. But that pick 6 and the fumble did lead to 2 touchdowns for the Raiders. So you're not wrong there, Adam. You're definitely not wrong. Defensively, Robert Spillane, 11 tackles, 9 solo. Nate Hobbs had a really good game. So one thing about Nate Hobbs, one play, I don't know what quarter it was, had the Chiefs player for a minimal gain, and he missed the tackle. And Chiefs player, I don't know how many yards he ran after that. I can't remember. I don't remember who it was, but it was a huge gain after Nate Hobbs missed that tackle. Huge gain, but he's able to compose himself, gather himself, and then later on in that drive is a 4th and I think 1 or 2, and he was able to make the tackle, preventing the first down. So, the universe comes around. You'll get opportunities. You miss a play, there's going to be more. So you got to keep your head out of your ass, eyes above water, and continue playing. You just can't dwell on that one play. Is what I'm trying to say. I got heads and asses and eyes above water. That doesn't even make any sense. Malcolm Kuhn, 6 tackles, 5 solo, 3 sacks. Max, 2 tackles, 2 solo, a bunch of pressures. Jack Jones, 5 tackles, 4 solo, pick 6, and like I said, Bilal Nichols, fumble recovery for a touchdown there. So great stuff from the Raiders defense. Since Antonio Pierce has taken over, the defense in almost every statistical category has been in the top 10, or at the very least, the top 15, top half of the league. So, the defense is playing really, really good lights out type football. I think they had one stinker since Pierce took over, and that was the loss to the Chiefs, I think, if I remember correctly, when they gave up 31 points. But there was a couple turnovers in that game. So, the defense has played awesome. And you hear a lot of stuff, about Josh McDummy when he was the coach, and like more stuff seems to be coming out. And Patrick Graham, our defensive coordinator, I guess it came out this week. I don't know how it came out or who was saying it. Even if it's true, I don't know. But the rumor was that the style of defense that he was allowed to call had to be approved by Josh McDaniels. And the way Antonio Pierce is playing is let Patrick Graham call his defense. Let him do what he needs to do to get the Raiders defense to where they need to be. And it's been outstanding since Antonio Pierce has taken over. And I would not be surprised at all if Antonio Pierce is our head coach moving forward. So, again, you have to go through the whole interview process and all Rooney Rule type stuff and all the other good stuff. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's fun being a Raider fan right now. In a playoff hunt. I didn't think I'd be able to say that a few weeks ago. Win these last 2 games, and they have a decent chance of getting in. They'll still need a little bit of help. If they win these next 2 games and the Chiefs lose the next 2 games, there's a chance that they can win the division, which it boggles my mind. Which would be awesome. That'd be fantastic. I mean, for our draft stock, not so much, but who the hell cares? I'm about winning. It's just win, baby. It's not just win until you need a good draft pick. The way the Raiders draft, doesn't matter what number we pick at. If the pass is anything, we don't pick very good in the top rounds. We don't do a very good job there. And when we do a decent job, when we do a decent job, we end up trading that guy away. So, Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper to a point. So we're not all that great at drafting people, especially in the early rounds. So, worrying about where we're going to be picking in the draft doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence. So we got a couple comments here. Eileen says, Raiders. Here's the one of my topics coming up here. The Taylor Swift curse is real. So I'll just get into that topic right away. It's something I just heard about today. The Taylor Swift curse. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess the people are saying that since Taylor Swift has come out or has been going to the games, that the Chiefs have not been playing well. And I feel like this whole season isn't your typical Kansas City Chiefs season. Not just the last handful of games since Taylor Swift and her Swifties have been invading NFL stadiums. I feel like the whole season hasn't been your typical Kansas City Chiefs season, even though they have won a decent amount of games early on. But Patrick Mahomes, he doesn't look his normal self. The whole wide receiving core, there's nobody really there besides Travis Kelce that makes you nervous. That really gives you we need to cover this guy, or he could beat us just himself. Nobody's there except for Travis Kelce. Whereas in the past, they always had one or two guys that would give you that. Give you hey, we got to pay attention to this guy. He can beat us himself. A la Tyreek Hill. But there's nobody in that receiving core to scare you. Running back wise, nobody there to really scare you. So they really need to reevaluate their offense. Their defense is fantastic, but they need to reevaluate their offense and their weapons and kind of retool a little bit. Andy's a hell of a coach, Andy Reid. You can't take that away from him. And I don't doubt in my mind that next season coming back, that team's going to look pretty different offensively than it does this season. And the offensive line needs to be retooled a little bit as well. So the Taylor Swift curse, I don't buy it too much. I mean, they're out there playing a game. They're not thinking about Taylor Swift. But I mean, as you watch it, I curse Taylor Swift. So I couldn't tell you songs that she sings. I mean, my wife will play it in the radio in her vehicle, so I hear Taylor Swift songs, but I couldn't ring off any of her tunes right now. If I don't know, I have no idea. That there's one. Hang on. Is it Blank Space? I think is it Blank Space something Blank Space Baby. I don't know. And the only reason I know that one is because it was redone into a rock version by a band that I don't know who they are because I don't listen to them. But I heard the rock version for Blank Space, and that's why I know that one. So I don't buy the Taylor Swift curse, not at all. Eileen also says, I said last night, at least she's not banging Rodgers. She ain't our problem. You got that right. But there was the one meme where it said that she went to the stadium with Kelce, left at halftime with Jimmy G. So maybe that was a problem. I don't know. And Adam says it's a Super Bowl hangover. And it's about time they do have a Super Bowl hangover. They've played a lot of games over the last few seasons. They've been in the AFC Championship, I think, every year for the last 5 years. I think. I could be wrong about that. And they've been to a couple Super Bowls as well. Won a couple. I feel like they lost one as well. Were they the ones that lost to the Rams, or am I thinking of somebody else? That might have been somebody else. They lost to the Rams that year. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, it's about they played a lot of games, and it's about time they start kind of feeling that hangover, kind of sluggish a little bit, and they do look they look tired, to be 100% honest with you. They do look tired. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is losing sleep or something. He looks froggy. He looks a little bit froggy. So one more from this game, one more topic. Travis Kelce gives no credit to the Raiders, and this is the one thing that pisses me off, and there's another reason why I can't stand this fucking guy. Is he was on his little podcast with his brother. I don't know, it's Heights something or other. I don't know what it's called. But his brother said, "Let's talk about the game," and Travis is like, "All right." So they're talking about the game, and Jason's, like that Raider defense was pretty good. He's like, well, we didn't do this. We beat ourselves. It's embarrassing to lose to that team and stuff. You know what I say? I say, screw you, Travis Kelce, you piece of shit. It's give the Raiders a little bit of credit. That defense has been playing well. They had your number that game. They brutalized you. They weren't lucky. From the start of that game, from the first quarter, the first snap, that defense absolutely brutalized that offense for 4 quarters. Knocked the shit out of you for 4 quarters. You have to give credit to that team for knocking the dog shit out of you for 4 quarters. They weren't just lucky. They created those plays. They made those plays. No luck involved. They made those plays. They created them. They beat the dog shit out of you. And Travis Kelce, you're a piece of garbage. So, piece of garbage that's dating Taylor Swift, but a piece of garbage nonetheless. That's my thoughts on Travis Kelce. A piece of shit that doesn't give credit. So let's move on to the Raiders at Colts. There we go. Huge game this week. Both teams in the running for the playoffs. Colts, I think, sitting at 7. And I think the Raiders are at 10 right now. So the top 7 teams get in. So right now the Colts are at the 7. I think it's the top 7. The Colts are at the 7 spot. Last team in. So you win. You're still in it. And if you lose, I believe the Colts will be out of it then. Or the Colts might actually still have a chance at the division. That division is pretty tight. The Texans, Colts, Jaguars, and I don't know about the Titans. I don't know if they're still in it or not. But yeah, they're all within like a game of each other. So the Colts are still in it division wise, and they need to win. They need to win to keep pace and to remain part of the playoff talk. As well as the Raiders do. The Raiders lose, they're out. Basically that's it. They win, there's still a chance. Again, they need help. They need like a Steelers loss, and who else is ahead of them? Texans, Jags. One of those teams are going to win the division. I'm not sure. I think they might play each other as well. The Jags and Texans one more time. I could be wrong. And that might all work itself out anyway. But you have to continue to win. You lose, you're done. So, excuse me. So, going through the stats for these two teams, for the Raiders and Colts, almost identical. So just looking at it, the Colts remind me a lot of what the Raiders, stats wise, it's all there. Backup quarterbacks, they got to that, different ways. They have Gardner Minshew starting for them after their rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson, who the Raiders were linked to so much last season before or this past year before the draft. It was almost a done deal that we were going to draft Anthony Richardson, and it turned out we didn't. We took Tyree Wilson instead, which again I was against Anthony Richardson. I wanted defense or something like that. I didn't think we needed the quarterback, and I felt like there were more quarterbacks down the road, not Aiden O'Connell. He wasn't even a thought in my head. I was thinking more. What was his name? Was it Henderson from Tennessee? I think that was his name. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so yeah, these teams are very identical stat wise, and both teams' defense is playing decent. The one thing about the Colts, they are up and down a lot. They started the season off slow. They rang off like 4 or 5 wins in a row. They were sitting pretty. I think at like 7-4 at one point. Then they lost a couple in a row. Now it's like alternate wins a little bit. So it's like a Jekyll and Hyde type of team. So the Gardner Minshew-led Colts welcome in the Raiders. Minshew took over for injured rookie Anthony Richardson back in Week 4 and has played up and down. Jonathan Taylor, another guy, running back. The slew of running backs holding out, wanted a new contract. So he missed a decent portion of the season. But he's back running the ball. But not himself. He hasn't been himself. He's been up and down, just much like Josh Jacobs. But he's been up and down as well as since coming back from his holdout. I think Zach Moss was their other running back, and I believe he's hurt. I think he's hurt, so I think it's going to be a healthy dose of Jonathan Taylor. Michael Pittman is just a beast. You hear a lot about how much the Raiders target Devontae Adams. Well, the Colts target Michael Pittman a lot. Even more than what the Raiders targeted Devontae Adams. So I was surprised by it. I thought Devontae Adams was the most targeted receiver by far, but Michael Pittman had him beat. And he's having a terrific year as well. So keys to victory. Make Minshew beat you in the pocket. He's one of those guys that can kind of squirrely in the pocket. He can move around. We've seen him with being in Pennsylvania. Seen him start a couple games with the Eagles. So you kind of get an idea of the type of quarterback he is. He can make the play. He can make the big throws. He also does make a lot of mistakes as well. Force the balls in where he shouldn't, or scrambling, and instead of either running out of bounds, throwing the ball away, trying to make a play out of nothing, and throwing a pick. So keep him in the pocket, make him beat you with his arm. Don't let him get outside and run or scramble, and beat you with his legs. Don't let him do that. Keep him inside. Hit him hard. Hit him often. Much like what we were doing to Patrick Mahomes. And don't forget about Jonathan Taylor. He's still a premier running back in the league. Not having a great season with the holdout and stuff like that. He hasn't been playing himself, but he's still a big time running back. So don't fall asleep on him. And I think Michael Pittman is not even going to play. From everything I've heard, I think Michael Pittman's hurt, so I wouldn't expect him to play. Defensively or offensively, can you continue to be smart with the football? No turnovers. Pick your spots. It's the one thing they've been very good at the last couple of weeks is they aren't forcing the ball downfield. They're picking their spots with it. They're setting deep throws up. They're not completing these deep passes, but they're setting up very nicely where it's not obvious that they're going to go deep. And continue going the short routes, short to intermediate routes. If they're open, take them. Take what the defense is going to give you, especially a young quarterback. That's going to build some confidence for Aiden O'Connell. Take what they give you, pick them apart that way. Your short stuff, your swing passes, your slants, short outs and stuff like that. Intermediate stuff. Run some pick plays. Not much of a screen team, so I wouldn't expect to see any screens. Maybe once. I think there was the one game. I remember who it was against. Of course, we lost that game. Where Bo Hardigree just called a ton of screens, and it didn't turn out very. I think it was against the Vikings. I think it was a 3-0 game, and it didn't turn out very well at all. So I wouldn't expect too many screens, but I'd expect a lot of short passing. Quick passes, short passes to kind of build Aiden O'Connell's confidence up, and continue to run the ball. Josh Jacobs, he's listed as doubtful right now, so I wouldn't expect him to play. So you have Zamir White again. Pound the rock with Zamir White. Antonio Pierce, his key to victory every week is run the ball at least 25 times, and good things will happen. And when we do that, I said do again. When we do that, good things do happen. The Raiders do well, the offense goes well, and we grind the other team down. And I don't think Michael Mayer is going to be back. I believe he's out. I thought I'd seen that before I came on live here. Try to get the ball to Devontae. Short passes. That was his bread and butter in Green Bay. Give him the short pass. Let him run. You got to hit him in stride. Don't throw the ball behind him. But as long as we protect the ball, don't turn it over, I think we'll be in good shape there. So looking at some statistical comparisons for the season, Aiden O'Connell's 163 completions out of 265 attempts with 1,675 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Gardner Minshew, 277 completions out of 443 attempts, 2,940 yards passing, 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He's been starting since week 5, so he has quite a few games under his belt. Our leading rusher, Josh Jacobs, 233 carries, 805 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns. Zeus has 59 carries, 268 yards, 1 touchdown. Zach Moss for the Colts, who I don't think is going to play, 177 carries for 764 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, 118 carries, 457 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Let me turn the page. Devontae Adams, 85 catches, 972 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. That's 146 targets. Jacoby Myers, 62 catches, 690 yards, having a terrific season, 7 touchdowns. Michael Mayer, who's not going to play. Michael Pittman, 99 catches, 1,062 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to play either. Josh Downs, 63 catches, 670 yards, 2 touchdowns. Alec Pierce, 31 catches, 456 yards, 1 touchdown. And Kylan Granson, 28 catches, 332 yards, and 1 touchdown. So offensively, you look at those stats and compare those stats, pretty close. If each, from your minus the quarterback, from your running backs to your receivers, the groupings, very fairly close with the stat wise, what they look like. And defensively, Robert Spillane has 130 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 3 interceptions. Divine Diablo, 93 tackles, 1 sack. Max Crosby, 82 tackles, 13.5 sacks. If he gets 3 sacks over the next 2 weeks, he'll be the single season record holder for the Raiders for sacks in a season. You'd like him to get it before the final week. That way you can't say, well, he had an extra week to do it. But so, yeah. But he's sitting at 13.5. The record is 16. Held by, I can't think of his name right now. He's a terrific rusher for the Raiders, too. He was not very long, but a small for like 2 seasons, maybe 2 or 3 seasons. Trayvon Merrick has 77 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions. Nate Hobbs, 76 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception. Malcolm Kuntz, 38 tackles, 7 sacks. And Amik Robertson, 2 interceptions. Jack Jones, 2 picks, 2 touchdowns, 2 pick sixes. For the Colts, Zaire Franklin, 161 tackles, a sack and a half. Kenny Moore, the second, 91 tackles, a sack and a half, 3 interceptions. Julian Blackman, 88 tackles, 4 interceptions. Ibukum, 9.5 sacks. Pay, 8.5 sacks. DeForest Buckner, 6 sacks. So a decent defense there for the Colts as well. They play up and down. 1 week the defense looks great, another week they look terrible. So who knows where you're going to get out of them. So statistically, that's the way the teams match up. If you're following along there, the out of the box sports entertainment offensive player to watch this week for me is going to be Aiden O'Connell. See how he bounces back from the last game. Again, he did what needed to be done. Didn't turn the ball over. Didn't make any mistakes. Didn't do anything else, though, either. So can he bounce back and create some offense through the air? We'll see. So he's my out of the box sports entertainment offensive player to watch. The Jason Fine Law defensive player to watch. Jay Fine Law defensive player to watch for me this week is going to be Jack Jones. So let's see if he can, continue to make big plays in the secondary for the Raiders. I mean, so far the pickup has been outstanding. It's been far and above anything that we could have imagined. And after bringing in Marcus Peters and turning out the way that did, having to release Marcus Peters and putting Jack Jones there, he outperformed Marcus Peters in a couple games, than what Marcus Peters did the whole season for. So, props to Jack Jones. So he's the defensive player to watch to see if he can continue his hot streak and creating turnovers and points off turnovers. And lastly, for this game, prediction: I like the Raiders 27, Colts 17. I feel like the Raiders' offense is going to rebound, and our defense is going to continue to play well. So we got a comment here before I move on to the LA Kings. Hey, Paul Spencer checking in. What's up, buddy? Happy New Year to you and the family, Paul says, and everybody here at the Out of the Box Sports Network. We'd like to say to everybody watching, the millions and millions, have a safe and happy New Year. Be safe out there. Don't drink and drive. Find a DD or an Uber, whatever the hell. Hitchhike if you have to. I don't know. Today's day and age, I don't know if hitchhiking is safe or not. But thanks for checking in, Paul. And I guess I mentioned at the beginning of the show, fantastic graphics here. I love it. Looks great. I dig it. I dig the whole New Year thing, the whole motion background. I think that's fantastic. I really do. I think it's awesome. All right, so that was my prediction. Raiders 27, Colts 17. The Raiders stay alive in the playoff hunt. And there we go. So I'm going to move on from that to a little bit of LA King talk. There we go. So I'll go over the results for the Kings' last 5 games. Last 6 games. I haven't been on, I guess, a week and a half with the Silver and Black Lair, so I'll go back all the way and recap. The scores and who scored and assists. Like, I'm not going to get too crazy in depth with it. So the Raiders were able to beat the Seattle Kraken 3-2 in a shootout. Went 9 rounds. It was pretty exciting, actually. I'm not a huge fan of the shootout, but it was exciting. It really was, going 9 rounds, seeing stops and seeing goals. And Grunstrom was able to get the winning goal for the Kings. Also in the game, where is it? I lost it. Trevor Moore, there it is. Trevor Moore scored a goal, his 14th of the season, with assists from Philip Denault and Kevin Fiala. Anze Kopitar had a power play goal with an assist from Quentin Byfield and Adrian Kempe. Cam Talbot had 17 saves. That snapped the Kings' 2-game losing streak. Three-game losing streak. We lost to the Islanders, Rangers, and Jets, I believe it was. So was able to snap the Kings' losing streak there. The first skid we had this season. We're able to get out of that. Then they went ahead and they beat the San Jose Sharks 4-1. Anze Kopitar power play goal with an assist from Arthur Kaliev and Kevin Fiala. Trevor Moore with another goal with an assist from Fiala and Philippe Denault. And the rookie, LaFerriere, was able to get a goal, his 4th of the season, and he got an assist from Jordan Spence, and Anze Kopitar. Trevor Lewis also scored in that game. That was his 4th goal with an assist from Blake Lizotte. And we also had a new goalie in between the pipes there, David Riddick. He stopped 15 of 16 shots. Not a whole lot of work there for Riddick. And that goal that he did give up in the game was late, really late. I think there was like 2 minutes to go in the third. or a minute and a half, 2 minutes to go in the third. So he almost had to shut out. But the reason why he was starting in net is Phoenix Copley got hurt at practice. I think it was the day before that or 2 days before that. And he's on long-term IR, I think with a lower body injury. For some reason, I want to say groin, but I'm not 100%. I could be making that up. I don't know. But it's a lower body injury, and he's on long-term IR. So we're going to see a rotation now with Cam Talbot and David Riddick for the Kings. Riddick had okay numbers with the Kings minor league team, and Portello. I want to say his name's Rick Portello, but I can't remember what his first name is. He had better numbers than what Riddick did. For what the hell is their name? Is it Quebec? No, it's not Quebec. Or maybe it is Quebec. I think it is. I think it is Quebec. But yeah, he had better numbers in the AHL than what Riddick did. But Riddick had the NHL experience, so that's one of the reasons why, from my understanding, from what I've read and heard, one of the reasons why they brought Riddick up instead of Portello, even though Portello has had the much better numbers. So move on from there. The next night we lost the Seattle Kraken 2-1. That was back-to-back nights that the Kings played. We lost 2-1. Our only goal was by Blake Lizotte, shorthanded goal. Cam Talbot stopped 28 of 30 shots. We were 0 for 3 on the penalty kill, and which was good. 0 for 3 on the penalty kill, but on the power play we were 0 for 4. Let me rewind that real quick. The first time when we beat Seattle, the power play we were 1 for 4. The penalty kill 1 for 2. And against San Jose, on the power play we were 1 for 2, and the penalty kill 1 for 3. So moving ahead, we beat Calgary a couple nights later, 5-3. A pretty big game there. Exciting game to watch. That one was a lot of fun. It was back and forth. So it was a lot of fun to watch that game. Quentin Byfield had a goal, assisted by Drew Doughty and Anze Kopitar. P.L. Dubois with a goal. There's a P.L. Dubois sighting. How about that? With an assist from Spence and Philippe Denault. Laferriere with another goal, assisted by Drew Doughty and Mikey Anderson. Trevor Moore with another goal, assisted by Roy. And Quentin Byfield had a second goal of the game. An empty netter, assisted by Adrian Kempe and Anze Kopitar. Then a few nights later, they were able to beat San Jose again, 5-1. With this game, I remember watching this game because it was only a couple nights ago. The other games I did watch, but I don't remember shit about them. I do remember the Calgary game was an exciting game. It was just back and forth. But the other ones are a week and a half ago, and I don't remember. I don't remember anything from them. I remember the run Grunstrom goal in the shootout against the Kraken, but besides that, I don't remember anything. But that's it. The San Jose game where we won 5-1. That first period was garbage. I think San Jose was up on us 1-0, and it just anytime we got something going, we would turn the puck over. We looked like a crap team. So it was very concerning, especially with San Jose being one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst team in the league. You want to get those points. You want to get those wins. And it wasn't looking good early on, but we're able to collect ourselves and play like we played all season. So we beat San Jose 5-1. Fiala, he had a goal assisted by Jordan Spence. Trevor Lewis had a goal assisted by P.L. Dubois. Or no, that was no assist. That was an unassisted goal. P.L. Dubois had a goal assisted by Arthur Kaliev and Laferriere. Kempe had a goal assisted by Matt Roy and Grunstrom. Kempe had another goal in that game, assisted by Mikey Anderson and Drew Doughty. Riddick got his second win of the season, stopping 24 25 shots. So he had a little bit more work that game than the first time he played against San Jose. But again, only giving up one goal, playing pretty good. The special teams, the Kings were able to kill all 3 penalties, but we were 0 for 3 on the power play. So, that's a reoccurring theme here for the Kings. And then last night, a bit of a bummer. We went to Las Vegas. We played the Golden Knights, who were tied for first place in the Western Conference and in our Pacific Division. We went to their place. We had a chance to become the first team to win their first 14 out of 16 games on the road, and came up short. Ended up losing 3-2. That's a hell of a team there in Las Vegas. All their stars, came out that night. Put points on the board, whether it's through assists or goals. Logan Thompson played great between the pipes. The Kings were all, especially in the last sequence there, where the Kings, I think, was a pulled goalie or a power play. I think it was the pulled goalie at the end. We were down 3-1. We were able to score with like a minute 20, minute 30 to go, I think it was, make it a 1-goal game. And they were just firing shots, sending passes across the crease, and give all sorts of credit to the defense of the Golden Knights and Logan Thompson. They were there. They answered it. They answered the bell there. They could have easily let that third goal go in and go on to overtime. But the Kings just they kept firing shots, and unfortunately they just didn't go in. So we lost 3-2 against the Golden Knights. Andrei Kopitar, he scored a goal, his 14th of the season. That was assisted by Adrian Kempe and Vladislav Gavrikov. Good to see him back. Trevor Moore also scored his 17th, assisted by Andrei Kopitar and Grundstrom. Cam Talbot was between the pipes. He stopped 29 of 32. And we were 0-for-2 on a power play. And the Golden Knights did not have any penalties, so no penalties to kill. Or no, we didn't have any penalties, so no penalties to kill. So that was the week in review with the Kings. The last week and a half, basically. So the stars for the week for those last 6 games. The number 3 star, Trevor Moore, with four goals over those 6 games. Continuing to score. Great stuff out of Trevor Moore in that line. The number 2 star of the week and a half, the last 6 games, Adrian Kempe, with 5 total points, 2 goals, 3 assists. He's just an offensive catalyst with that first line. That first line's awesome. Quentin Byfield, Andrei Kopitar, and Adrian Kempe. And then the number 1 star of the week goes to the captain, Andrei Kopitar. He had 7 points, 3 goals, and 4 assists, and he's playing hot right now, really hot. And hopefully they continue. It's going to be a rough month for of January for the Kings. They have 15 games in January, and out of those 15, 13 of those games are against teams over 500. And there's some big boys there. You got, I think Tampa Bay, Florida, the Rangers, Nashville Predators a couple times, the Avalanche. So there's some big boys there. And also a shout out to Kevin Fiala, who also had a pretty decent week. He had 4 points, 1 goal, and 3 assists. So he's playing pretty well. P.L. Dubois playing much better. Defensively, Gavrikov is back, so that's a bonus. So our defense kind of right itself a little bit. We shoot the puck a lot. Good things are going to happen, and sometimes the other goalie just is better. You throw in 30, 35, 40 shots, and hope for the best. So coming up next for the Kings, over the next week, before I come back on again, the next 3 games, they have the Oilers coming up. Huge game there. The Oilers playing much, much better hockey. They started off really slow, but they've been playing better as of late. So they'll have their first match with the Oilers of the season, who knocked us out of the playoffs the last 2 seasons in the first round. They're sitting at 16, 15, and 1 and 33 points. And they play the Maple Leafs January 2nd. Terrific team there. They're 17, 9, and 6 at 40 points. And then they play the Red Wings, Detroit Red Wings, on January 4th. They're sitting at 16, 15, and 4 with 36 points. So again, above 500. We start the month of January off with the Maple Leafs. So it's going to be a telltale sign what our team is really going to be this season. This month of January, a lot of tough, stiff competition. So we'll see what we look like at the end of the month. So next we'll go to the standings. So looking at the Pacific, right now in the lead, Vancouver. The Canucks having a terrific season. 23-10-3, 49 points. Second place, you have the Vegas Golden Knights, 22-10-5, with 49 points, so basically a tie. In third place, the LA Kings, 28-4, 44 points. Then you have the Kraken at 13-14-9, 35 points. And the Edmonton Oilers, 16-15-1, at 33 points. So the Kings have a decent cushion there for the third spot. The division, the top three from each division gets in. Then you'll have 2 wild card, I believe it is. So looking at the West altogether, Vancouver leads the West, 49 points. The Vegas Golden Knights there as well. Sitting at third place in the West, they're the Colorado Avalanche, 21-11-3, 45 points. The Kings are currently sitting in fourth place in the West with 44 points. And you have the Jets in fifth, 29-4, 44 points. Dallas, 29-4, also 44 points. Then you have the Coyotes, 18-4-2, 38 points, and the Nashville Predators, 15-16-0, 38 points. So those are your standings for the West and Pacific divisions. And we'll go ahead and hit up some stats here before I get the hell out of here. So looking at our top scorers, Anze Kopitar leads the team in points, 14 goals, 19 assists with 33 points. Juice, Adrian Kempe, 11 goals, 20 assists, 31 points. Kevin Fiala leads the team in points, 7 goals, 23 assists. He leads the team in assists. Sorry about that. 7 goals, 23 assists, 30 points. Trevor Moore leads the team in goals, 17 goals, 9 assists, 26 points. Then you have Quentin Byfield having a good season, good sophomore season here, 10 goals, 15 assists, 25 points. Philippe Denault, 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points. Drew Doughty, 7 goals, 11 points, 18 assists. And our big offseason acquisition, PL Dubois, 7 goals, 7 assists, 14 points. Looking at the goalies, Cam Talbot sitting at 14-7-2 with a 2.11 goals against and a save percentage at .924. Phoenix Copley, before he got hurt, was at 4-1-2 with a 3.16 goals against and a save percentage of .870. And so far, David Riddick sitting at 2-0-0. 2 wins, no losses, no ties, no overtime losses. With goals against at 1 and a save percentage at .951. He only played 2 games so far. As a team, a couple stats here. The Kings is ranked 7th in the NHL for goals for at 113 goals. Ranked 1st in the fewest goals allowed. That's 75. Goals per game, they're ranked 3rd with 3.53. Goals against, goals allowed per game. They're ranked 1st for the fewest at 2.34. That's a recipe for success right there. The power play, which was one of the best in the league last year, we're currently sitting at 18th, which isn't good at all, at 19.1% power play. But our penalty kill, which was shit last year, which got us basically knocked out of the first round of playoffs. The first round last year against the Oilers, I think the Oilers power play was sitting at like 50 or 60%, which is unheard of for power play. We couldn't kill a penalty last season in the playoffs to save our lives. But so far this year, defensively, new scheme for the penalty kill has been outstanding. We're currently in the league sitting at first with 87% of the penalties killed. So that's awesome. Shots per game, we're ranked first, 34.2 shots per game. And shots allowed per game, we're ranked second for the fewest. Second fewest, 26.7. So good stuff there. I got a comment here. We got Foster's cover. Foster covers. It says, hi, Eileen. Hope all is well. Broke away to watch my Blackhawks OT loss to Dallas. That stinks. Was a fantastic game, though. You know what? Say, Foster, sometimes that's all that matters. Your team loses, but you know what? As long as it's a good game, it is what it is. There's a lot of games in a season. Blackhawks getting younger and hopefully getting better. I like the league's better when the Blackhawks are good, the Red Wings are good, teams like that. And so Cam Talbot, individually, he's ranked 4th in save percentage and 2nd in goals against average. So having a terrific season there for Cam Talbot. All right, so that's all I have for today, I believe. Let me double check here. Yep, that's all I got for today. I got another comment here before I hit the road. Foster says we have no expectations and they are hustling. Yeah, it's a lot like the Flyers. The Flyers, low to no expectations there, and the Flyers have been playing pretty decent hockey this season. You got to see them play the Kings a couple times this season. They played in Philly already. They played in Los Angeles, and they split them. I think the Kings went to Philly and beat them out there like 5-0, and then the Flyers came and they smacked the Kings around in LA. I think it was 4-1, something like that. So, Philly, just like Chicago, young team, no expectations, low expectations, and getting better. So, hopefully, there's exciting times ahead for the Blackhawks. Like I said, it's a better league when the teams like the Blackhawks, Red Wings, the Flyers, when all those teams are good. It's a much better league. All right, so that's all I have for today. Thank you, everybody, for checking the show out. I got to do my sponsor reads before I get the hell out of here. See that? I forgot. I should have did them earlier when I was thinking about it. I'll do them right now. Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. You can check Big Al out 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Let me get that thing off of there and that thing down there, out there. First, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The offices are located at 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And then in the city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the offices are located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. After you get your legal stuff taken care of, head on over to monkeycoldcoffee.com and get yourself some coffee, some gourmet coffee. They got the bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, toasted coconut rum, the Sumatran blend medium roast coffee, whole bean or ground. One of their newer blends, the organic blend Perula, Florida. That's in whole bean or ground. That's part of their global gourmet collection, as well as the Sumatran blend. They also have the honey agave, the aged honey agave coffee, which I just recently got. I have not tried it yet, so I can't wait to try that. That's a newer flavor, so check that one out as well. Head on over to the swag shop, get yourself a coffee mug, tumbler. The tumbler cup is fantastic. T-shirts they have. The cold brew pitcher is awesome. K-cup adapter. And don't forget your Paradise rum cake. And I do believe right now on their website, they're also selling barrel-aged honey. So go ahead and get yourself some honey and from monkeycoldcoffee.com. And then when you're at checkout, use that promo code OOTB Sports. The promo code, once again, is OOTB Sports for 10% off your order at monkeycoldcoffee.com. Hey, one more comment after I forgot the goddamn sponsors. Foster says, thanks. You have a happy new year as well, Foster. Thanks for checking the show out. I appreciate it very much. Be sure to tune in next week, probably Friday night again. Well, I work next Friday, or next weekend's my work weekend. So I'll probably be on a little bit earlier, maybe like 8 o'clock or so, either Friday or Saturday. We'll play that by ear. So I hope to see everybody check the show out next week as well. Thank you very much. Everybody have a happy new year. Be safe. And here's to a new one. Yeah, here's to a new year. Hit that reset button. If you had a rough year, hit that reset button. And do me a favor, go head on over to Out of the Box Sports. Like, follow, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or X. Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow on Twitter, X. So be sure to go to those two platforms especially, and subscribe and follow there. And very much appreciated. And if you're looking to start a podcast, hit us up. We'll point you in the right direction. We'll help you out and get things squared away. A couple more comments here. And Sean says hi. And Sean is correct because you just missed it. Sorry, buddy. Says not like Groundhog Day year. All right. Yes, you got it. Happy New Year. Happy Groundhog Day. One of my favorite movies of all time is Trading Places. And one of my favorite parts in that movie is when Eddie Murphy is dressed like was it an African exchange student or something like that? And he's like, Merry New Year! Ha 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 ha! That's one of my favorite parts. So, Merry New Year to everybody. Enjoy your time. And Sean says he wants to start one. Ada, we'll talk about that, buddy. We'll get you rolling if you actually do want to start one. I'll talk to everybody later. Thank you for checking the show out. Go Kings, go, and just win, baby. Go Raiders.